Evening stream. Ooh, here we go. Let's see what they got. Also, I'm streaming this off my PC, so I'm hoping everything will be a lot smoother than streaming it off my laptop, because that's what I usually do. But I'm slowly migrating over. Oh, they got a little Twitch tag now.
Hello and welcome to
Hello.
episode 3.
She's always hype.
Us at CD Projekt Red, where we talk about all things Cyberpunk 2077. In today's episode, we're going to start by taking you on a tour of Night City,
Ooh.
with a new gameplay video, and have a chat with senior level.
Turn it up a little.
Miles.
Got
Then
you.
we're going to introduce you to the
Alright.
gangs of Night City.
It's gonna look weird for a second.
New gameplay video, and have a chat with Matayush from our quest team.
I think
Then before we
let me do a little
finish
more.
today's
Okay.
episode, we're going to give you a look at some of the incredible finalists in our PC case modding contest. And we have some
Dang.
information that PC players have been waiting to hear.
Ooh, I might be PC.
It's time to
Let me
take you
know.
on a tour of Night City.
I want to do their art contest, but I haven't started my piece yet, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna try and start either today or tomorrow. Postcards from Night City.
Oh my god, Juanita here, today's news.
What is this?
Hi there. New to Night City? It's not so bad here.
How we feeling today? Cause I feel amazing.
The food, the Thai on 7th and Haywood, the pierogies down by the docks.
Our home, our pride. And as always, your business is my business.
And
Uh-huh.
this is your world news update.
Melt your PC. I think I have good enough specs to run it. I'm not sure yet, though. That's why I haven't bought it yet. I'm like, maybe it'd be better. Just went with PlayStation. Be safe. Either way, it's gonna be fun, though.
Endless possibilities and endless lies.
We are fucked, America.
Eh,
And I don't know how we're gonna fix it.
still, even in the future. Freaking 57 years later.
Rate than in the new United States.
I want them to show a little bit more of the Badlands. That's what I was thinking about doing my art piece on.
On your own, you're fucked.
Keanu.
On
Dang.
that note, that's it for today's info flash. Sleep tight, Night City. The grass ain't greener anywhere else.
Night City. What does it mean to you? How well do you know?
This is a really good looking game, though.
Richard Knight. How many stations are in the NCART system? Which city district boasts the best burrito in town? The answers to these questions and more can be found at the address at the bottom of your screen. Check it out and fall in love with Night City all over again.
I wonder if this is a program you can actually watch, like in GTA, where they have like those 2 channels, I think. Ooh, okay. I had little vocals on that. I heard you. November 19th. Everything in freaking November.
One of our stars of this episode, there is actually quite a lot to talk about. So let's start at the beginning. How did Night City come to be? Because yes, it exists in the world of the tabletop, but how do you take that and make what we've got now?
Tabletop.
Yeah, as you can imagine, making a city that is as big and complex as Night City is quite the ambitious project. First off, we sat down and we were really considering what is it that we wanted to do with Night City. In a way, Night City is the star of Cyberpunk, right? It is one of its main characters. We wanted to make a city that is very, very believable, right? I mean, the word immersion gets thrown around a lot, but really, we wanted you to be able to dive into it and feel like this is a real place. And then secondly, we also wanted to provide enough variety between districts so that exploring Night City would always be fun, right? right? There's no point in making a city that is all sameish, and you know it doesn't really matter.
That's kind of like
because once you've been through one district, you feel like you've been
one of my
through.
concerns
So
with
for
the
that,
Badlands.
first off, started taking a look at the real-life geography that Night City is located on, and that would be on the coast of California. Knowing that
Oh,
Night City
okay.
is a coastal city gave us a bit of insight into what we would expect from the city layout. You'd expect the port, you'd expect huge industrial areas that would facilitate this kind of trade that you would assume a city of this type would have with the world. And then we went through and actually divided the city into several districts, 6 of them, and some of them are based on the original lore. We
Whoa.
characteristics in terms of architecture, the demographics.
Just threw that in there.
And also the function within the city. Each of these districts, in turn, we divided into further sub-districts, which we further characterized using the more grand theme of the larger district. This process, I think, has resulted in a city that feels quite alive, has a lot of character, where each district feels like its own distinct zone without feeling separated.
My goodness.
From this larger picture, and that
A lot of boobies.
allows the player to easily navigate even the complex concrete.
This isn't
jungle of
YouTuber
Night
friendly.
City simply by looking around and always having a rough idea where you actually are.
But Night City is clearly so different from anything we've ever created with The Witcher. Can you give us some idea about, or some insight into just how big and like how densely packed Night City really is?
Yes. So I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that Night City is easily the most complex thing that I or the others have worked on.
You can see that.
It's super organic, right? It's not like a chessboard layout, but the layout of the city is crazy, and you can tell that it grew in phases, right? Where buildings have been built on top of each other, and I guess the mega buildings that we have showcased are a great example of this. You'll actually see that they are located on some kind of pillar, you know, and then expand outside and then up high into the sky, and underneath it you'll have space for other buildings. This yields a lot of interesting experiences when it comes to exploration, and that's the one thing I'm most excited about for players to experience. We've been saying that our exploration is super vertical, right? But what this really means is that it changes the way you explore the city. Compared to our previous games, you won't be able to easily set out on a target in the distance, right? You won't be able to say, oh, there's a castle on a hill over there, I'll try to get there, and then you'll be lost on the way. But here it's much more intimate, much more moment to moment. You might be roaming the cities and get a call by your fixer who informs you about a job nearby that you might be able to do, right?
Okay.
Or you find an alleyway and you walk down one of the many alleyways that the city has to offer, and it's always a surprise. You don't know if you might stumble upon some gangers hanging out that are up to no good. Sometimes.
So it's like
the moments that I often get surprised with, you even stumble upon
kind of the Yakuza format a little bit, where just like random events happen sometimes.
And it's quite astonishing sometimes to see where you come out when you enter one of these and, you know, find that, oh, this is actually how it connects to the world. That's crazy. And now I'm here, and now I know there's a shortcut that I can take. And again, this all serves to really enhance this sense of wonder that we all come to love from all
That's
the
a big
world.
fish.
And the whole city is built to cater to that.
I mean, you guys
Fat
have
boy.
really brought Night City to life, and I really want to make a point of that. It is a living, breathing city. So as a level designer, can you give us some insight into those little touches that you guys have made? Because I hear you guys have even been placing...
He didn't say how much bigger it was than Witcher 3
We've been
though.
placing quite a bit of rubbish, and that's certainly one of the more glorious parts of being a level designer or an environment artist, where you get to litter the streets that you've spent time building with the garbage. But it's details such as this that we find really...
Aliens kidnapped my wife and kids, help me.
And also, we take great pride in the process of making this, right? We have a lot of fun actually placing a lot of what we call mini stories, right? These are little encounters that you can find when you simply walk along the streets. Of course, we have huge quests, right? Side quests. We have lots of side activities that you can do. But it always is nice to just kind of stop down for a minute and take a look at your surroundings that we have so lovingly created, and try to see if there maybe isn't something that you can be a little detective for. Now, one other thing that I think is really cool is also the fact that we have actually named every single street in the city. So not only will NPCs be able to communicate their locations or the locations
Oh,
they
come
want to
on.
visit by sort of referring to the street names, but also you will be able to talk to your friends about it in that way, right? Have you been to Poplar Street in Japantown, for example? And I think this is a small detail, but the philosophy that we have with these kind of things is that, you know, many, many small things contribute to the sum of it, which is hopefully then you being able to explore a city that you feel is truly alive and that you haven't been experiencing before.
Well, Miles, thank you so much.
If I don't watch these things for anything, it's just to look at the freaking skyline of the city. It's awesome.
It might be, yeah. You know, if this game dev thing doesn't work out for me, I might retire and become a tour guide in Night City.
Oh, I thought she said something about Fall Guys.
If you're late or if you just want to watch anything again, we will be uploading everything to our channels soon. Now, from the 6th Street to the Valentinos, it's time to introduce you to the gangs of
Why is she doing like this? That looked kind of weird, a little bit. Looks from the 6th Street to the 8th Street. Look at my head. Like, I don't know. That just felt weird to me. Different from her other posture.
Stronger survive, but that's how things stand.
She was feeling herself in that shot.
Feels allowed into nothing.
Then see ain't a city that lets you get by without buddies.
Be very careful, my friend. We are all so far from home.
Ooh.
Which gang's the city's biggest and baddest, according to the NCPD?
That'd be funny if this had GTA elements in it, since it is Cali.
One time, a Maelstrom ganger killed a young kid right in front of my eyes for shits and giggles.
Chrome-sucking psychos.
Ooh.
And who the fuck are you to say what can and can't be? I'm gonna introduce you to our meat grinder. About time we had some fun! Think Maelstrom never forgets? Never!
Wow.
I hate these Borg fuckers.
Just a gang like any other, right?
I'll take the Valentinos. They follow God and a Santa Madre. Honor means something to them.
How'd you meet Jackie?
We started out together.
In the Valentinos?
Not about these
The fucking
dudes.
Bible book club. I gotta give style points
Yep.
to the Valentinos. They have a punishment for every occasion.
You gotta join one of the gangs though, right? Well, I guess, depending on whether you're like a street kid or from the Badlands, or Corpo.
Why'd they want to wipe you?
Can't fucking stand Tinos.
I've dealt with 6th Street before. We do the run, they'll transfer the cred.
Come on, let's go before 6th Street shows up. Shot! 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 Any more Second Amendment fans in the house, huh?
Ooh, I don't know about them. Also, is that the American flag with 51 states, or what is that?
Idea how many attacks from behind the black wall we neutralized if the Voodoo Boys breach
It looks
the
like
wall, we'll all be fucked.
the Cuban flag, or like a Spanish flag.
No such gang.
You know, I heard a few things about you. Voodoo Boys, best runners in town.
You do not steal from the Voodoo Boys. I see you always. For them to
I wouldn't want to mess with that dude.
their own island, cut off from
I might join this game just so I don't mess with him.
our home. Until last week, the animals crawled in.
Yeah, Voodoo Boys kind of look like that one.
The craziest fucking gang in the city.
Breaker storm!
Oh, you scared me. Thank you. Oh my god.
Not the play, are they? They're hired muscle. Someone else needed them.
I fucked you over.
Scary. Just felt a presence.
Start of the story, somebody fucked the corp. See how this works now?
My husband's new Westbrook. Very high in the tiger claws. They did what made the best eddies. Sold sex and black market tech.
Oh, oh.
They run this place.
Know what else they do well? Break the knees of people who ask questions.
I also feel like this one could be pretty cool too. Like the sword that they showed off in the last Night City Wire looked kind of dope.
Many, so people took matters into their own hands.
Like, I don't know if the weapons depend on the gang, but that could swing me.
Whole freak show. It's how the Mox got started. Us Moxes have each other's back. We look out for one another. You looking for some company tonight?
How'd you hook up with
Mm,
I thought Susie
not joining this one.
really changed something in this city.
Might spend a couple nights there though. No,
Don't seem so different.
that was so bad.
About community.
about the Badlands. What's going on out here?
This is good.
Au contraire.
I think.
This is an ecosystem.
Ah,
No
crap.
matter Shiv, corporations, and drifters, they form a complete whole.
I low key
The delicate balance.
want to start my story in the Badlands.
Here in the Aldecaldos, it all stays in the family.
Classic dilemma.
Yeah, there's a ton of gangs. There are a ton of gangs.
This family will go to hell and back.
Everyone in this city lives in their own bubble.
I kind of want to start my story in the Badlands, but it seemed like all the other gang options are in the city.
Mateusz, thank you so much for joining us.
I don't know.
I've personally been really excited.
Maybe it doesn't matter where you start.
Look at the gangs.
I hope.
We've shown a little bit on Twitter, but their styles are so distinct.
Yes, I enjoyed them a lot as well in our game. I think they're very cool.
But let's start then with the kind of role that they play, because gangs really do play a prominent role in Night City.
Is this a
correct?
pumpkin spice?
Yes, definitely. The gangs, they rule the streets of Night City. You know,
I think
they
it
have
is.
the newest cyberware, they have the newest weaponry, and they are really a power that everyone needs to take into account.
My
when they are
basic
thinking of
girl
fighting.
urges have
You'll
been
encounter them as
sufficed.
you explore the city, of course, but also as you complete main quests, side quests, different jobs for the fixers. Sometimes you might even get hired by them.
But then, I suppose everybody's thinking then, can you join a gang?
Well, V is a merc, and mercs of Night City are this unique, distinct group that stick mostly to themselves, right? And they get jobs from variety of factions.
Oh,
They get
okay.
jobs from corporations, they can get jobs from gangs, they can get jobs from different kind of like influential clients. Because of this, nobody will ever trust a merc to be one of them, right?
Oh.
And the gangs are no exception here. They are looking only for like people that they know will be loyal to them, right? And that they will fight for their cause all of the time, not just some of the times when it's profitable to them. So because of this, V will mostly stick to the afterlife. And the afterlife are this group of mercs, this legendary group of mercenaries in Night City. They get the best jobs, they get the most money, the best clients, and so on. So if you want to become a legend in Night City, you are going to the afterlife.
Ah.
So we've obviously mentioned distinct style then. So does
How does
mean
that
special gangs being
change the
weapons,
way?
items, and
Oh,
clothing
wait.
for players to find and use?
Yes, definitely. There are different vehicles that you can drive, for example. There are cars, there are motorbikes. Then, of course, there are different pieces of clothing themed after gangs. There are weapons and so on. So, yeah, definitely there are things to look forward to.
I suppose as somebody who's spent as much time as you have kind of getting to know the gangs, I have to ask, which is your favorite and why?
So I would have to say probably Maelstrom, simply because...
Was that the first one?
this unique, distinct feel and this weird aesthetic about them. So the idea about Maelstrom is they are people
Weirdo.
the boundary between the machine and human, right? They are changing so much of their body with cyberware that
I will
they
say it's
no longer
interesting,
look
but
human, really. On top of that, they are also very unpredictable. It's very difficult to say what they will do at any point when you meet them.
if I wanted to see the Terminator, I'd turn on the movie.
At the other moment, you know, they will pull gun out on you, and they bring in this element of chaos into the game, which I
Yeah,
really
pass.
enjoy personally.
Oh, Matthew,
Story
thank
could
you
change your
so
mind.
much for joining
Yeah.
us. It's always interesting to learn
For sure.
what your favorite gang is. I think it kind of tells me a little bit about you.
Oh, does it? What does it?
That's kind of funny.
We'll talk about that later. But for now, before we wrap up today's episode, we asked people to show us their creativity and design a PC case mod, Cyberpunk style. Our panel of judges selected 5 finalists, and we teamed them up with professional case modders to bring their concept to reality.
So, my question is, while I can talk here, how does, like, the story that you choose affect how you interact with these gangs? Since you can't, like, join them. How do we interact with them? And, like, start a relationship? I was looking at that PC, actually, and I was thinking about buying one. I'm like, yeah, it's a little too pricey, but it looks, you know, it's definitely up there. That's pretty crazy, though.
Next level, honestly, kind of terrifying.
Oh my god. Could you imagine having this in your house? Just like, yes, my PC shoots lasers.
I would expect to find at a trade show.
It really looks like it could have come straight out of the game.
Wow. So do they collect these, or what are they gonna do with them? Oh no, it moves.
To watch the full PC case modding video and to get more information about when the winning design will be available on charity auction, stay tuned to our social media channels. Looking at those PC case mods, it reminds me that we do have one more thing to reveal. If you're going to be playing Cyberpunk 2077 on PC when it launches this
Oh no.
we do have some specs to share that I think some of you have been waiting for. The minimum system requirements.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is what I need.
7 or 10 PC.
All right, got that. Don't know what that is. I got that.
Or AMD FX 8310. 8 gigs of RAM and an NVIDIA
All right.
GeForce
8 gigs.
780 or an AMD Radeon RX 470.
That's pretty low.
The game will take up roughly 70 gigs of space, and although it will run off a HDD, we do recommend an SSD. As for the recommended specs, you're in the green if you're rocking Windows 10, an Intel Core i7 4790 or AMD Ryzen 3 3200G.
All right.
12 gigs of RAM and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 or AMD Radeon R9 Fury. Thank you so much for joining
That's
us
pretty
on this
reasonable.
episode of Night City Wire.
That's pretty reasonable.
That if you've missed anything or if you just
Good for them.
again, we will be uploading everything to our
This looks like only NASA can run it, but I'm glad it's been optimized. Well done. Well done, everybody. See you again next time. It's kind of sad that's shorter, especially since I woke up at like 8:30 thinking this was going to be premiering at 9, and I've just been awake since. Don't usually wake up early on Friday, but hey. Sometimes you try stuff that's different. Alright. Well. Oh, I also don't have any music, so sorry. This is going to be awkward-ish. But, that was pretty cool. I like that we got to see, like, a little Night City program of, like little talk show hosts talking about what they thought of the city. A lot of them seem to not have, like, hold up. Actually, that's fine. Well, actually, no, that's 2 minutes, and then something will start. Never mind. But, yeah, they have a little thing about, like, people's perception of the city. And it seems like, at least from that one host that I can remember, things aren't looking so good in 2077 either. So I'm curious to see what all is going on that caused her or them to say that. Also, what else? Oh, the specs. The specs are pretty good. I still have to double check because I don't know my PC specs off the rip, but I think I can run that. That's pretty dope. They were able to like optimize it so like a lot of people can play. What else? Oh my god, so many gangs. But that's good. That gives us like a lot more characters to interact with. I'm not sure how we're going to interact or like start a relationship. If you're like, oh, I really like this one gang, I'm only gonna do stuff for this one gang. Like, can you get to the point where they'll trust you, or what will happen with that? I'm not sure. But cool stuff. Very cool stuff. But yeah, that is going to be it. I'll come back later for a Persona stream. So if you like P5 Royal, gonna be streaming later. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks everybody for coming through. Appreciate it. for people who are on my side of the world, in my country, this isn't really early, so I guess, but it's in the middle of the day. It can be inconvenient for peoples. So I appreciate you being here nonetheless. But yeah, that is gonna do it from me. I'll see y'all next time. Hope you have a nice evening or night. Whatever it is, enjoy it. And I'll see you next stream.